Hey everybody, I'm Ivonix, and this is The Deed. Now, I am ready to pick out my, murder weapon and evidence item, and what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna... This was the maid's room, right? I'm gonna get the glass shards from the broken mirror. Yes. And in addition to that, I'm gonna go grab my sister's poem. And my thought is that it'll either get blamed on the maid, the murder will either get blamed on the maid, or maybe it'll be ruled suicide, if that's an option. I think it is. Alright, so take one of the poems. Yes. If playing in the right location, this could raise interesting questions about the maid's relationship with her sister. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Oh. Dinner's ready! God, that is... Again, a bell invites me, this time to dinner, it seems. Dinner is served. Sophia, could you come here a moment? Yes, ma'am? Pour me some more wine. Yes, ma'am. But madam... Oh, what is it, George? I must protest, it has always been my duty to pour the wine at dinner. Wow, really? Arguing over who gets to pour wine? Oh, well, I don't want to cause any trouble. Nonsense, what does it matter, George? Stop being overly pedantic. But I... He just wants to look down your dress. I'm afraid George just enjoys the view while pouring the wine, Mother. What? I never... I've noticed him staring at your breasts on many occasions when he does it. Jennifer's, too. That's a lie! Aaron, please, don't make up such stories. I don't know where you get the nerve, boy. Don't worry, George, I don't believe this for a moment. Thank you, sir. An interfering little rat, isn't he, Daddy? Yes, he is. Why can't you ever keep your mouth shut, boy? Okay. I'll try not to piss people off more. Perhaps I did. You're right, I'm sorry. I must have had too much wine myself. You'd better not let it happen again. Sophia, could you come here, please? Yes, Miss Jennifer? I just wanted to say that was the loveliest meal I've ever tasted. I don't know how you do it, you cunning pixie. You're too kind, miss. Of course I will have tea and cakes for you in the drawing room as usual after dinner. Oh, you are so good to me, you sweet thing. So very good to me. I wouldn't mind some of your hobbies. Uh-huh. None for me, I'm full. I won't have any, thank you. I couldn't eat another bite. Well, you weren't offered any, so there. Please, Jennifer, let's all try to be civil. Anyway, let's not forget why we are here today. To celebrate your father's birthday. Such an important occasion for us all. You are so dear to us, Malcolm. Happy birthday, Daddy! Indeed. Happy birthday, Father. Let's hope it will be one to remember. Indeed it will be. Doing the deed. Now it is time to quickly plant any items of evidence you have. To do so, simply enter the desired room and select the item in your inventory. The question is, do I plant the letters in the maid's room or do I plant them in Jennifer's room? I'll go with planting them in the... God damn. Oh. Maybe I should plant them in, the maid's room, maybe, but George is standing right there. Can I, like, walk around him? Or will he, like, notice that I went downstairs? Let's try putting them in Jennifer's room and see what happens. Can I plant them, like, at her desk or on her? You don't have the time to search. Okay. How do I plant an item, though? me see. Okay. Oh, what is the poem read? Come hither, thou sweet and flame-haired maiden. Let us play the games which have been forbidden. In dusty old rooms of this home in which I live in, come hither to me and do my sweet bidding. You find yourself unable to continue reading this. You're pretty sure that forbidden isn't a word, and that the rest doesn't really rhyme. Do you want to plant this item of evidence in this room? Yeah, sure. You decide that your sister's wardrobe is the ideal location to plant some evidence. The police will definitely search this room thoroughly. I'm probably doing the wrong thing, but we'll see how it... Ah, damn it. We'll see how it goes. Maybe they'll think she took her own life because she was depressed about not the maid not returning her affections. Are you sure you want to enter the drawing room? Once inside, there's no turning back. Yes. Let's go kill her. Oh. You see Jennifer staring out of the window ahead of you, lost in one of her strange moods. She hasn't noticed you enter the drawing room. Now is the time. Die! Your sister cries out in surprise as you grab her from behind. You quickly muffle those cries with one hand before pressing the shard of broken glass against her throat. She struggles valiantly as you cut her throat open, but you manage to hold her in place until finally she goes in. Brutal! You drop her lifeless body to the ground along with the broken glass. It's time to leave this room before your deed is discovered. Oh, I'll go up to my room. Yep, I was up here the whole time. It sounds like my deed has been discovered. God. Don't mind me just, slowly moseying in. Good evening, everyone. I am Chief Inspector Winston Lewis. I understand that this is a difficult time for your family. You're damn right it is. I want to know what you're doing wasting time in here while my daughter's killer is still out there. Well, Mr. Bruce, we have found no evidence of forced entry, and nobody was seen entering or leaving the house. It would seem entirely possible, then, that the killer is in this room. What? No! That seems highly unlikely, Inspector. Perhaps it is. However, in order to follow protocol, I will have to interview each of you in turn. Mrs. Bruce, would you like to meet me in the library first? I suppose so. The interview. Thank you for joining me in here, Mr. Bruce. I'm sure this won't take long. Before we begin, I will need to search your person. Best to get these formalities out of the way. Is this really necessary? I'm afraid so. Turn around, please. Now that's out of the way. Let's move on to the interview. Guessing that would have been if I had decided to use my bare hands instead of the glass, and he would find the glass on me. As you know, I've already spoken to everyone else who was present in the house at the time of your sister's death. We've also now completed our initial search of the house, but we'll get to that later. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? First of all, we will run through all of your activities since your arrival. The maid says you and the butler arrived shortly after 7 o'clock, and she greeted you at the door. The maid says you made several lewd comments and advances towards her during your conversation. This leads me to question your character, I'm afraid. It's only intended as a harmless joke. It was intended purely as a light-hearted joke. In retrospect, it may have been appropriate. Oh man, I shouldn't have gone around pissing everyone off. Yes, it is entirely possible to misjudge these situations, isn't it? It's worth noting that the butler has also commented on your inappropriate behavior towards the maid. Later you went to speak to the maid again, which is curious. Why did you decide to visit the kitchen? To make sure to see when dinner would be ready. I was hungry and wanted to know when dinner would be served. That makes sense. Later on you had a conversation with your mother, Gloria, in the parlor. She told you that you were unusually cordial. Something about wanting to apologize and make amends. Yes, I wanted to clear the air between myself and my family. I see. Do you think it is slightly suspicious that you suddenly wanted to reconcile after all this time? You don't know me, asshole. No, I don't think so. Very well, then. She says you spoke briefly about your sister. Apparently you seemed quite concerned about her well-being. We were worried my sister might attempt suicide. My mother and I were concerned that my sister might try to take her own life, as she had attempted once before. She had she? I will take note of that. You went to see your father in the library. I understand your conversation became quite heated. My father has always had a temper. Many of our conversations go that way. Would you say he has a violent temper? Absolutely. I see. That's good to know. You discussed the prospect of your moving back to Dunshiel. You said you would only move back if your sister was placed into psychiatric care. For her own well-being, of course. I had her own best interest at heart. She belongs in care. You may be right, Mr. Bruce. However, you seem to be the only one who felt that way. Let's discuss your conversation with the butler. As I understand it, he confronted you about your earlier behavior with the maid. Apparently, you accused him of having an interest in the maid himself. I wish I hadn't said that. I don't know why I said that. I suppose it was just the heat of the moment. I was surprised that a servant of his experience would be so bold. I understand. Did you speak to your sister before dinner? Yes, I did. I went to her room to see her. I see, and what did you discuss with her? Just small talk. Nothing of consequence. We spoke about the terrible weather and how long it had been since we last saw one another. Okay, then. Let's move on to the events that took place during dinner. I understand that during dinner you made an unseemly accusation towards the butler. I regret it. I should not have tried pissing everybody off so bad. I was only trying to make trouble. I shouldn't have dragged George into my family's problems. No, perhaps you shouldn't have, but at least you are willing to admit that. Now, I need to ascertain your location at the time of your sister's death. Where were you when you heard the maid scream? I was in the guest room. I see, thank you. As I said earlier, we have completed our initial search of the property. We found a poem written by your sister, which appears to clearly express romantic feelings towards the maid. However, from where we found the poem, there is no reason for us to believe the maid was aware of those feelings. It is entirely possible that these feelings of unrequited love contributed to your sister's demise, though I'm curious about the murder weapon. The broken glass seems to have come from one of your sister's mirrors. We found the rest of it in the maid's room. We've established that you have been to the servants' quarters this evening. Oh, shit. However, we can't rule out suicide, especially given your sister's mental condition and her obsession with mirrors. It is all very interesting. I will be completely honest with you now, Mr. Bruce. While some of your behavior this evening has been peculiar, I can find no cause for any significant suspicion. Sweet! While there is some suspicion regarding your father, I don't currently regard him as a serious suspect. I am slightly curious about the maid, but I doubt she was involved in this. The possibility of suicide must be considered, although I am personally unconvinced. Now as for what happens next. You can go for now, but I would appreciate it if you did not leave town. I may have more questions for you later. It is possible that an inquest might return a verdict of suicide. We'll see. Alright. That was a lot of talking. Wow. Although the inspector harbored suspicions about you, you were not brought in for further questioning. Suicide was regarded as the most likely possibility, but the inquest determined that there was not sufficient evidence to return a verdict. The case remained unsolved. You had gotten away with murder, it seemed. However, you had not given them sufficient reason to suspect anyone else either, and your father harbored suspicions of his own. Oh shit. Some years later, you were surprised to see his obituary in the national newspaper, and horrified to learn that he had given his estate and possessions to a trust organization. No, I failed. You had committed this foul act for nothing, and now there was nothing at all to give you comfort in the long night when the demons of your past came to haunt you. Shit. Well, fuck. Okay, we're gonna try again. Okay, I'm back. I did things a little bit... I actually went back to the beginning, and I, did things a little differently this time because I, figure, you know, the conversations you have with family members and everything are pretty important to the outcome. But, this time I actually decided to... I just grabbed the shotgun, and I'm gonna try to frame the dad. Really, because he's an asshole and I don't like him. So, I think I just need to grab this. Yes, the leather toss. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah. Dinner time. So yeah, I've tried to be less of an asshole to people who don't deserve it this time, so... a little bit more of an asshole to people who do, so we'll see how this goes. Anyway, Sophia, come here, give me some wine. Yada yada yada. I guess this time I won't be mean to George. Alright, I must protest. It's always been my duty to pour the wine dinner. Alright, so... this time we will be nice to George. Just let him pour the damn wine, would you? It's his job. Stay out of it, boy. If your mother wants the girl to pour the damn wine, then the girl will pour the damn wine. Of course, sir. My apologies.
An interfering little rat, isn't he, Daddy?
Yes, he is. Why can't you ever keep your mouth shut, boy? Now, don't lose your temper. Careful, father. There's no need to make a scene at dinner. I'll show you a scene. Get over here. Oh, shit. Malcolm, please. Let's not permit his behavior to ruin dinner. Oh, God. Screw you, Mom. Yes, I suppose you're right. You can count your lucky stars, boy.
Sophia, could you come here, please? I love you. Everything is delicious.
I don't have any, thank you. I couldn't eat another bite. You weren't offered any. I've already had this conversation. So, happy birthday, Dad. Let's get on with it. Time to commit murder. Okay. So... I'm thinking that the best place to plant the toss is probably going to be in Jennifer's room. We'll see how it goes, I guess. Items. When your father used to beat you, he never even repeated the old cliche, this hurts me more than it hurts you. Oh, wow. Do you want to plant this item of evidence in this room? Yes. You decide that your sister's wardrobe is the ideal location to plant some evidence. The police will definitely search this room thoroughly. Yep. Alright, now we go downstairs. Are you sure you want to enter the drawing room? Yes. Yes, I'm sure. Time to die! Sister doesn't seem to notice the audible click as you turn off the safety and aim the shotgun squarely at the back of her head. You know your father always keeps it ready and loaded. As you pull the trigger, the kick surprises you, but your aim is true enough. The shot impacts with the back of her head and blood sprays on the opposite wall. You drop the shotgun on the ground. Someone will be here very soon, surely. You don't have much time to escape this room. Oh shit, 3 seconds! Oh my god, 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 oh. Did you hear that, sir? Huh, no, I didn't hear anything. Oh. Oh man, that was close. That was like the only room I could run to. Hope George isn't like, he came running in here right after the shotgun blast went off. Alright, now, anyways. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Inspector Winston Lewis. I understand this is a difficult time for your family. Damn right it is. I want to know what you're doing wasting time in here while my daughter's killer is still out there. Well, Mr. Bruce, we have found no evidence of forced entry, and nobody was seen entering or leaving the house. It would seem entirely possible, then, that the killer is in this room. What? No! That seems highly unlikely, Inspector. Perhaps it is. However, in order to follow protocol, I will have to interview each of you in turn. Mrs. Bruce, would you like to meet me in the library first? I suppose so. Okay. The interview, once again. Thank you for joining me in here, Mr. Bruce. I'm sure this won't take long. Before we begin, I will need to search your person, best to get these formalities out of the way. Is this really necessary? I'm afraid so. Turn around, please. Now that that's out of the way, let's move on to the interview. As you know, I've already spoken to everyone else who was present in the house at the time of your sister's death. We have also completed our initial search of the house, but we'll get to that later. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? First of all, we will run through all your activities since your arrival. The maid says that you and the butler arrived shortly after 7 o'clock, and she greeted you at the door. She told me that you refused to give her your coat, and she found that quite peculiar. Yeah, I did keep my coat this time, since I figured with the shotgun, if I didn't have my coat, I mean, I might not be able to hide it or something. I didn't want to get cold. I wasn't sure how long I'd be staying. Okay, let's see how this rolls. I wasn't sure how long I'd be staying. Okay. I thought I might have to leave soon. In this weather, Mr. Bruce? That seems quite unlikely. Later on you had a conversation with your mother, Gloria, in the parlor. According to your mother, you were quite unpleasant towards her, but she says that is not unusual. She says you spoke briefly about your sister. Apparently you seemed quite concerned about her well-being. We were worried my sister might attempt suicide. My mother and I were concerned my sister might attempt to try to take her own life, as she attempted once before. She had, actually. I will take note of that. You went to see your father in the library, I understand. It became quite heated. My father has always had a temper. I'm guessing that's... My father has a very short fuse. Many of our conversations go that way. What do you say he has a violent temper? Absolutely. I see. That's good to know. You discussed the prospect of your moving back to Dunshiel. You refuse to do so under any circumstances, I understand. Well, I already have life elsewhere. My father fails to accept the fact that I have my own life now. I can't just move back here. Of course not. That's completely understandable. Did you speak to your sister before dinner? Yes. I see. What did you discuss with her? Just small talk. Nothing of consequence. Terrible weather. Okay then. Let's move on to the events that took place during dinner. I understand there was an argument involving the butler. You felt he was being treated unfairly. Well, yes, of course. I'm a upstanding person who does not, like my family treating servants like dirt. Indeed, it was good of you to do so, Mr. Bruce. I gather that your father rather lost his temper at one point. Well, he usually always loses his temper. That was nothing out of the ordinary. Your father often loses his temper at dinner. My father loses his temper no matter where he is. I see. Now I need to ascertain your location at the time of your sister's death. Where were you when you heard the maid scream? I was on the ground floor. I was in the storage room, wasn't I? Yeah, I believe that's what that is. I was in the storage room next door. That's right. George did he did mention it. George did mention to me that you were in there with him. As I said earlier, we have completed our initial search of the property. We found this leather toss while searching your sister's room. Do you know who it belongs to? Yes, it belonged to my father. Interesting that it should be kept in your sister's room. Was your father ever violent towards your sister? Let's just say he was never one to spare the strap. I see. I'm curious about the murder weapon. The shotgun which was used to murder your sister was owned by your father. Obviously, he knew how to use it. However, this could just easily have been a suicide. It's hard to say. It is all very interesting. I will be completely honest with you now, Mr. Bruce. I can find no fault or suspicion in your behavior leading up to your sister's death. Yes. However, the evidence against your father seems very compelling indeed. Despite her condition, I don't believe your sister committed suicide. Now, as for what happens next, you are free to go. I will be arresting your father shortly. Ha-ha! A verdict of suicide seems unlikely, I'm afraid. Okay, so did I do it? Was I successful this time? Wait, what? Okay, alright, okay, that's my father in the prison, alright. Since you had given the police no reason to suspect you, the evidence you had planted against your father led to a trial and a swift conviction. Sweet. In prison, your elderly father's 50 years old is elderly, really? Your elderly father's health deteriorated swiftly, and he died within a year. Your grief-stricken mother died soon after. Oh, man. Dunshiel House was yours, along with the fortune that came with it. However, George and Sophia found themselves unable to continue serving in the place after what had happened. As you spent many long, sleepless nights wandering through the rooms of the house, you found that its emptiness was reflected within yourself. You had become hollow inside, free of everything but the nightmares that continued to haunt you. Wow. Well, I got away with it. Hey, I guess, wow, yeah, that's the end. Well, that was fun. I mean, for being, what, 50 cents is what I, spent on it. It was fun. I might go back and, you know, try to figure out, see if I can figure out, whatever other combinations of, treachery I can get up to, see if I can frame the other people, like the maid or the mom, or actually, like, successfully make it look like the sister committed suicide. But, for now, I guess that's it. So, thanks for watching, and until next time, rock on!